Welcome to the deep dive. Sometimes the most surprising business ideas really don't come from, like, the usual places.
Right. Not always the big tech hubs.
Exactly. They can come from somewhere totally unexpected. Even, believe it or not, background music in a shopping mall. We're actually going to do a bit of a throwback today, back to the 80s, for this really fascinating story about entrepreneurship.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so for this deep dive, we've been looking at these excerpts from In-House Radio, a mall music enterprise.
Okay.
It's all about the journey of this guy, Tim Boyles. He was a musician, but he had this really unique vision. So our mission today is basically to unpack how Tim managed to take his own music, and he even called it elevator music himself.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, and he turned that into a really successful business. It's kind of a masterclass, combining creativity, business sense, and just seeing an untapped market.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into this.
And what's really fascinating here, I think, is how just a simple brainstorm, right? It isn't just an idea.
Right.
It can actually become a blueprint, a solid plan for something much, much bigger.
Exactly.
This story really shows how sometimes the simplest concepts, if you look at them differently and, execute them well, they have this incredible potential that most people just overlook.
Absolutely. So picture this. It's the 1980s. Tim Boyles, he's a musician, and he's got this, growing library of his own songs.
Okay. Composition.
Yeah, compositions. And the crucial part, and this is where it gets really interesting, is that he owned the rights. All of it.
Ah, that's key. Intellectual property.
Totally. Now, most artists might think, okay, license it for films, maybe traditional radio.
The usual routes.
Right. But Tim thought differently. He had this idea, which was surprisingly effective. Why not use his own original music as the background soundtrack in shopping malls?
Wow. Okay, that is unexpected for original stuff back then.
Right. Think about that for a second. It's such a different way to use your own compositions.
And that's where his insight really kicks in, isn't it?
Okay.
He wasn't just thinking, where can my music play?
No.
He saw a specific need, a market niche.
Yeah.
Malls needed sound, yeah, but maybe something better than just generic tapes.
Yeah.
And they needed ways to, subtly connect with shoppers, promote the stores in the mall.
That's a good point.
And because he owned the IP, the rights, he had total control. It wasn't just any music, it was his exclusive music, which meant no complicated licensing deals, no massive fees. He controlled the whole product. Huge advantage.
Huge. And he moved fast. The source says he pitched this idea directly, walked into mall managers' offices.
Bold move.
Totally. And get this, pretty quickly, 6 malls were on board.
6. Wow, that's fast buy-in.
Isn't it? Imagine the hustle. A musician pitching background music and closing deals that fast. It really shows how clear his idea must have been.
Yeah, it must have resonated.
And then the system he set up, this in-house radio, is really smart. It wasn't just a looping tape.
Okay, so what was it?
Well, the source describes it as a professional DJ hosting a proper radio show.
In the mall.
Yeah, complete with actual commercials, ads for the stores right there in that mall.
Ah, okay. Very clever.
And all the while, his music is playing in between the DJ segments and the ads. It literally sounded like you were listening to a live radio station.
That adds a layer of professionalism, doesn't it?
Definitely. Gave it a really polished feel.
So if we kind of zoom out and connect this to the bigger picture, it's actually quite pioneering for, in-store experience and local advertising back then.
How so?
Well, he wasn't just selling background music. He was offering this multi-layered value proposition.
Right.
For the mall managers, think about it. They get a curated atmosphere, not just noise. They get this professional presentation.
Makes the mall seem more upscale, maybe.
Exactly. And they get a direct advertising channel for their tenants, the stores paying rent, all bundled together.
Huh. It solves several problems at once for them.
Precisely. One controllable package. Really smart.
What's also really cool, though, is that Tim didn't just stop there. After in-house radio had its successful run.
He didn't just stick with it.
No. He took that momentum, that success, and he moved on. Developed his own recording studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and kept creating music, but then shifted focus more towards TV and film scoring.
So he leveraged the first success into something else.
Exactly. It shows how that initial kind of novel success can be a really powerful springboard,
That really does raise an important point, doesn't it? About adaptability and continuous innovation. That's so key for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Tim didn't just get locked into that one successful model. He used it, learned from it, and it became a stepping stone.
Right.
It allowed him to move into related but different areas. It's a sort of a classic entrepreneurial path, really. Build, learn, apply, explore again.
That actually leads us perfectly into Tim's tips. The source includes these, and they're packed with really practical stuff. Yeah, and honestly, these aren't just for musicians or radio people. They feel pretty universal, like things we could all probably use.
Okay, like what?
Well, his first tip is, sometimes you can combine several interest ideas into a single business project.
Integration.
Yeah, we often keep our passions separate, right? Work here, hobby there. But Tim's story shows the power of blending them. How did you see that playing out for him?
Well, it wasn't just music plus radio business. It was more nuanced. He combined the creative part, the actual composing,
Okay.
with the technical side, like knowing how radio production works, the broadcasting aspect.
All right, the DJ part.
Yeah. And then, crucially, the business strategy part, seeing that B2B need in the malls and figuring out how to market his unique product to them.
So different skill sets coming together.
Exactly. Distinct interests and skills that, when he put them together, didn't just add up. They, multiplied. Created something genuinely new and valuable. It's about spotting that synergy.
Okay, good point. His second tip is about getting help, knowing you can't do it all alone. He says, I did have help in sales.
Ah, smart. Sales can be tough.
And through my recording contacts, I found DJs to work the radio part.
That just highlights how critical collaboration is, right?
Yeah.
And using your network.
Yeah.
I mean, very few entrepreneurs really build something significant completely on their own. You have to know your strengths, but also your weaknesses.
True.
And then actively find people who have those skills you lack, whether it's sales or specific technical talent, like being a good DJ. That's how you scale. Lets you focus on your core thing.
Absolutely. Okay, and his third tip, which I think is so powerful, especially if you have a new idea. He says, I did a demo of the project and it sold itself. Don't be afraid to do the demos.
Oh, yes, the power of the demo. That is so important.
Why do you think that's so critical?
Well, especially when you're selling something new, something maybe a bit abstract like radio in a mall.
Right, hard to picture maybe.
Exactly. A tangible demonstration, a prototype, a proof of concept, or, like in Tim's case, an actual recording of what in-house radio sounded like.
Right.
It helps people get it.
Takes it from just words.
Right. It makes it real. They can experience it, not just hear about it. They can actually visualize the value you're offering.
Yeah, I can see that.
Plus, it tackles that risk factor for the potential client. They hear the demo, they know what they're getting. It's about showing, not just telling. Huge.
That really is a great takeaway. And, that kind of brings us towards the end of this deep dive. What really stands out to me looking back at it all is just the power of starting with a simple brainstorm.
Yeah.
It just goes to show sometimes those really unexpected ideas, they are absolutely worth exploring.
Definitely.
Success can pop up in the weirdest places, even, like we said, from what some might just dismiss as elevator music.
It's amazing, isn't it, how a seemingly small, kind of niche idea can grow into something so innovative when you mix creativity with, solid execution, being willing to adapt.
And knowing who to bring in to help.
Right, that's smart collaboration. This whole story, it kind of reminds us that the insights we need might be right there if we just manage to look at things with a fresh perspective.
Yeah, that's well put.
So, maybe a final thought for you listening. What seemingly simple or maybe niche interest do you have? Something that, if you looked at it differently, maybe made a really compelling demo. Could it become something much bigger than you currently imagine?
Good question.
Maybe Tim Boyles' story, this whole mall music venture, could be the spark for your own surprising next step. Something to think about.